Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive disease to thriving, right smack dab in the midst of it, in the hopes that something that we share with you will help you, enlighten you, and encourage you as you transition your family from struggling to survive disease to thriving, right smack dab in the midst of it. When you're dealing with health issues, right, there are changes that you're going to have to make immediately when you kind of find out that you're going through health issues, especially if you are trying to get better, do better, and live your life to the fullest. You're going to make the changes that you need to make. You know, some people choose not to make changes. They just choose to maintain. Some people choose to do things they know they're not supposed to do for themselves and continue to take medication just to try to balance out the symptoms or things like that. And that's fine. If that's the route that you choose, that's good for you, then it's good for me, right? I, on the other hand, I make changes. When I found out that there were some things going on, I immediately make changes, and a lot of us do. And if you're watching this, you're most likely one that make the changes. So when you find out you're going through things, you start making changes for life, right? To do the things that you need to do to maintain. It may mean that you need to start exercising. You may exercise less. You may have to change your lifestyle. You may have to change your eating style. You may have to change the things that you do. A lot of times we have to change the way that we think, right? So we all have to make changes. But what I want to talk to you about is when you've been in something for a while, or what you're going through is going to be there for a while, what you find out is that you're going to have to constantly make changes. Things will change. Sometimes you're doing something. You may have a regimen that's good for you, a therapy or a treatment that you're doing, even a medication that you may be doing, and things are going well with that. But life happens, you guys. Body changes, things changes, and in life change, and you may have to change up what you were previously doing that was working for you. That may not necessarily be a bad thing. The thing I want to talk to you about is just to make sure that you're aware that changes are going to constantly come, and to not only be aware of it, but to be open to the changes that may come. You might have been eating one way that was working for you, and there may be a day where you may need to change the way you're eating again so that things can go better for you, because things might have changed in your body. Or it just may that be, you made changes, and they were good for you. And then sometimes you find out ways to even increase and to go to another level of health, another level in your physical activity or whatever it may be, so that the changes you had made were good, but you need to make more changes to go to another level. You've learned more, you can do more to do better, and so sometimes changes may need to come in that as well. So say for instance, if you had a diet, right? You were doing a certain diet, you might have learned better, your body might have changed, things might have changed, the medications you're taking may be affecting different things, so now you may have to fine-tune your diet on another level. Some things you used to eat, you might not be able to eat right now, right? Some things you used to do might not be the best thing for you to do right now, or it could be some things that you used to do you couldn't do. Some things you couldn't do, you might be able to do now, right? So don't always look at changes as a negative thing. Change could be a positive thing, something that's going to help you, or something that has increased, that has given you more ability in your life where you might have been limited. So don't look at it as always a bad thing. There's good and bad that comes with everything in life. You're going to have pros and you're going to have cons. So when the changes come, when it's come times for you to make some new changes, right? There's going to be some good and there's going to be some bad. Some good things about it and some things you might not like about it. All bad doesn't mean it's really bad. It could just be you might not like it, Whereas before you might have been eating ice cream, you might have to change the ice cream you eat, or might have to stop eating ice cream, right? You might not like that. But then there might be some good things in it. The new ice cream you may eat may be better than the ice cream you used to eat. Who knows, right? But just be open to the change and don't look at it as always a negative thing, because it is not. Here's the thing about when it's time to make a change. First of all, you got to recognize it and deal with the truth of it, because sometimes it's time to make changes. We're faced with it, but we don't want to deal with the truth of what we're going through. So we deny it and keep going on and then get results we probably don't want, right? Or not get the best results that we could get. So we got to recognize that change is needed, right? And know what the changes that we need to be, that need to be made. You got to be really clear on what are the changes that need to be made, so that you don't haphazardly go into something, make the wrong kind of changes, right? So just be really clear on the changes that you need to be made, and do your research. Learn as much as you can about the changes that you need to make, whether it is to implement something new, right, or to withhold something that was old. Maybe you need to pick up something or drop something. So you need to do a lot of research and learn about what kind of changes you need to make, because the more knowledge that you have when you go into your change, the more apt you are to be consistent, to stick with it and make a real change, not like a 2-week, 3-week change, but a lifestyle change, right? Because sometimes we can do really good for a couple months, couple weeks, couple days, and then it's out the window, and we want to be able to sustain in the changes that we make. When you make a change, sometimes you might need to wean off or to slowly add in, because big jumps sometimes stops us from being consistent, right? And not just consistent for a short while, but consistent for a long while. And we want to make change, not a short-term temporary thing. So the more knowledge you have, the more empowered you are, the more ability you have to do the change properly and to maintain it at all times. But you got to know who you are, and you got to know your personality type. If you have to cut, cookies cold turkey, that might be hard for you, and you might, not be able to handle it and go on a binge the next couple weeks, and it do more harm than it is good, right? But if you know you're a person and you need to slowly wean yourself, you know what, I'm not going to do a whole bag of cookies today. I'm going to do a half a bag of cookies a day, right? Until you can wean yourself down on 1 or 2 and then to none. So you got to know yourself and do what's best for yourself and pace yourself. A lot of times people start working out and they don't stick with it because they overdo it. They don't slowly work their way into it, and it's frustrating, right? You want to get in shape, you want to lose weight, whatever your goal is, and so you want to jump into it and get some immediate, response and reaction, and to be able to show forth what you've done. But you really got to start gradually doing things. If you just jump up and start trying to run, you're going to hurt yourself. So you got to kind of walk and then add a little running, but a lot of walking, and eventually have a little walking and a lot of running until you can build up to full-time running. It's a process to everything that we need to do and that we need to implement into our lives. So just be mindful of that, you guys. Know that changes will come. Your body will change, life will warrant changes, technology will warrant changes, and so just because you've done one thing for a long time doesn't mean it's going to be that way always. And if something you've been doing is no longer working for you, don't get distressed about it. There's something else out there. Find it. Just consider this as a new page, a new day, a new time to change into something new. Don't look at it as a negative thing, because if you look at it as a negative thing, you're going to get depressed. It's going to become overwhelming, and it's going to make it much harder than it needs to be. So I hope something in there was helpful for you. Remember, in all things at all times, do you. Until next time. Bye.